Assalamu alaikum and welcome to AMANI Birth. This is the AMANI in the Gambia Saving Lives Today series, and I'm Jar, founder of AMANI Birth, and I'm here with my dear friend, Sister Salama Karama. She is one of the AMANI affiliates who has a deep heart for saving lives in Gambia and bringing AMANI Birth there with knowledge, because knowledge is power. And Brother Sekaba, who is from the Gambia, who is a wonderful AMANI Birth dad. Mabruk, congratulations to you, and a translator to reach more local people. So welcome to both of you.
Thank you. Okay, so inshallah, today's topic, Aisha, is going to be about the important role of the husband during pregnancy and labor.
Oh,
the
I
role
like
of the father. Yes, mashallah.
You can translate that. That's our topic today.
Yo, assalamu alaikum badi ngolo kalbe kondong tenu ko tenke ko bi kuma kumul kala mindi be diama mina wala mu fala ludula konoma to wala ulula ulutumo.
Thank you. So I want to start by acknowledging that the father plays a huge role in the pregnancy, labor, birth, and afterbirth journey. You can translate that.
Can you just repeat that?
Yes, the father plays a huge role in not just getting her pregnant, but through the pregnancy journey, the labor, the birth, and the postpartum, the afterbirth period.
Yeah, ako laftoka nko nyitandika atandiko fama ludula amanke ko kabuko ka kuno leka harje bargutu osilo nyinkan kaje ku kono maya anin tingoto anika wuluani wuluo fankola.
So I want to talk back about the hormones that were mentioned in one of the previous lessons, Sekubak. Can you mention that?
Ko alafadi amla mina balo ka minga mara balo like afa buindo wala angalika saba hormone alafadi amla wala la cool.
And a few weeks back, when we talked about hormones, we talked about how important they are in terms of progressing a birth in a normal way.
Ko na diana konko gawonya buindo wala mu hormone di ako alafta wala diamla wala kula kaje ku ika ulula kuonyi ka samba nyato nyame wala ka ulonyi kaje ku alatunku ngwa ta kata nyato alafta diamla wala.
I'm sorry, I want to point out that it's not just at labor time that we're concerned with the hormones.
Akola to ka tandiko amanke ko tingola tumodrongo imbu indonyi ika diamala kula wol.
Throughout the entire pregnancy, the woman's hormones are flowing through her body and through her bloodstream reaching her baby.
Ako kono ma tumobe buindonyi wala hormone nyi katra tama kan hadam muso en balu kabo atafon to kata dingoto.
And the husband's role here has to do with the woman's emotions.
Ako sa kewala wala kewala lodla in lando wala ko kaje ko muso la taranya wala ala ku kenya la taranya min.
Because we can't control our hormones, but our emotions will affect which hormones are flowing in our body. So we cannot control our hormones, but our emotions will affect which hormones are flowing to our body. They're indirectly linked to our hormones.
Ako buindo nyin ngero hormone te ako ntolu te malanu wala mamare le bagudu mse maroke no mina wala mu miliyalan ko lebe tamala mu lokadu go kinya be nyamin abe tula wala bulu kaje ko imbe tamale balo ko no fana tarra wala nyam.
So a woman who's in a relationship that's stable, loving, safe, and secure, she will have the nice oxytocin hormones flowing throughout her body.
Ako musomi alan ko ala be tankaring ala muda kuring uta amuna ko wala oxytocin boyino yin aka wala bitara tama ko balo kono.
But on the other hand, if her relationship is in turmoil, if she's having difficulties with her spouse, if there's marital problems, or she just doesn't feel supported, this is going to result in stress hormones.
Ako mafandola wala ko nara nunko anatara taranya la mialan ko ya maybe fitiring amanta bulu ko mi alan ko wala mo mutanya nyimata amuna ku ako buindo bindila wala fitiye tate wala ni toro tate.
And stress is detrimental to her health as well as the health of her unborn child.
Ako ikaya go oni toro nying ose man toro samana te fonku kana ning dinola kuno.
So I think it's important for husbands to realize they have a lot of control here because how he supports her. Does he support her like she's his queen? Does she know he loves her? He's never going to leave her. He's there for the long run and he's stable. That's going to help her to have a healthier pregnancy.
I didn't hear that. That is going to do what to the pregnancy?
So
the last bit I didn't hear.
Yeah, the husband who's very supportive of his wife, who treats her well, lets her know he loves her. He's there with her. He's never going to leave her. He can't wait to have this baby together. If he provides her that kind of loving support, it's going to give her a healthier pregnancy.
Ako echaumi alanko yela emusonyi yekanotan yala amuda ku aje ko ebitar la fele ka andu fana ina be korndor ka ko ale ni muso da amuna ku obe kurma min diela wala ko karma mi ko ay kanu soto adu fana be sebento yarin.
So it's a big responsibility on the husband to keep her in a very calm, loving state. It's a responsibility on the husband to keep his wife in a calm and loving state.
Ako to cholo lunga wala ni kaje ko muso wa muta nyala mialan ko abitara sabatring anu ngaitra tentending kaje ko atra muta kuru.
Now we know in Quran that men are the maintainers and protectors of women.
Ako kadu kwanu kuru ngaro na ko muso lemu chewol lemu muso lu mutarangoti anin kaloye kaloye fana.
So this is one of the ways that the man can play his role and protect and support his woman.
Ako nyemu silodo le kaje ko chewselo damen kaje ko kamuso tankande.
Now another way is another thing we talked about in the past, and that is taking a look at her nutrition.
I didn't hear that.
Another way that the husband can play a part is in paying attention to her nutrition.
Ako ese de maro fana do kino adame wala ko kaje ko ala do mur ko nyin fana fanal timialan ko isa ade manoje.
Because we recognize nutrition is the number one factor in the mother's and baby's outcome.
Ako karo ko eka ela do mur fengolu o mu kukuma fi ne kaje ko nyin ko mo kele minna kulani wala ko nyin so mo nyin ba mala dingola ko ab kele nyam.
And a husband who takes interest in what she's eating and who encourages her to eat well and make sure that we have the kind of foods that she needs in the home, has access to those foods, that husband is going to be supporting a healthy pregnancy and development of his baby.
Ako keomi alan ko aya hatiro ke kaje ko muso be do ro min kela muso ina ko ma to kaje ko ay ke do mor kendoti amuna ko wo be kela kelete mi alan ko wo muso ende mala kaje ko ay kono ma so mi alan ko ay akete kono ma kende aringo.
Now, I know a lot of men think of pregnancy and birth as women's things. Like they don't want to get involved. That's a woman's business, right? That's what men sometimes think, right?
Ako kato ala ko chewdo ika miro ke minke walen ko ay kaje ko kono ma muso ko lindro ko mala fi da keleje.
I want to acknowledge your beautiful smile, Sekaba. Because you're a husband. Mashallah, you're a husband.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
thank you.
yes. So he's thinking, yeah, birth's a women's thing. Here's the thing to think about. Research shows that if husbands get involved, if they go to prenatal visits with their wife, if they learn alongside of her, then she will do better for herself, and he can remind her of the things that are important. If he takes a stake, if he is man enough to get her pregnant, then he should be man enough to go through and learn and support her all along the way.
Ako kisi so reaction de kaje ko chowenga tra musu fe kaje ko ni vita fere rolla ko ben ko ikono mala fere lolu anin ejibe ro dol mi an ko kaje amuna ko ni ita tra fe wala amuna ko kade mala kono maya tole kaje ko kunyembe kila nyamin.
Now, if it's available, I don't know if it's available in Gambia or not. Maybe Selma, you could clue me in on this. I don't know if it's available for husbands to be able to labor and birth with the women in any of your clinics or hospitals there. How accessible is it for the men to be a part of the labor and birth? I'm asking Selma.
I'm not. Oh, okay, all right.
You can answer. You can answer too.
I don't know, to be honest. I never had the experience whilst I was in Gambia, so I don't know exactly. Yeah.
What do you think, Selma?
I would say from my experience, the fathers are allowed. You know, the support of the fathers is encouraged. They're allowed to labor with the women. But the issue is most men don't understand how to labor and how to support their wives during their pregnancy. Right. So their presence is welcome, but normally they're just sitting on their side, on their phone, and the wife is left alone. And there's really no engagement.
Because I have a lot of noise in the background, Selma, I'm going to mute, and I want you to carry this part of the conversation muted, okay?
Okay.
Akanyinigar ke minga wala ko kali ko musolla tingo do fuche wala kasara yele banga Gambia dalma ko wala ko e katara yele alli kaso ne tara je baraka kenya me amona ko e bitara je nyame tuwando ila londo to wala doyata wando katara yele bari katara je kaje ko yetara tingo nyin sodi makanye ko kula ka jaden. Go ahead.
And so the as Aisha was saying about the father's role during labor, you know, we got to the point of pregnancy, but now during labor, his role is even critical because he's there to protect her. He's like a protector over her during her laboring process because she's very vulnerable.
Akamva ko kewula lodla kummayata kunumato surtu kata timoto ako muna ni muso timota muna ko wolo foyela lodla ko kumata je bak ba yi jele kaje ko ka tanken kaje ko sonno mo itra la ko kata aje ko ay tanko soro.
Selma, I also want to touch on through the pregnancy, the birth, and the labor and the afterbirth. Dads need to be able to, recognize when things aren't right, when his wife doesn't look right, when she's swollen, when she's, lethargic, when she seems to be out of it. Like he needs to push her to seek care, and he needs to push the care providers to pay attention to her if that seems to be needed. Like, don't just sit back and wait for things to happen. Like, step up and speak up.
Bar yullo lembe imbe fengola fa mbar. Aka dia minna wala ko kaje ko kewolu siaklu musol do ko nata no ko no bela ani aje ko kul man ta kan odo yana kala mul melan ko kaje ko ye musol ni nyori kaje ko ita ye filaro ki fanna wala ita hati hatiro di fanna kula melan ko len jaral bundalo ka wali ajani baje ko kulita fo tambi tumola kaje ko be di maraso la nyabi nyatu minna tuma beto minna way tambi oto ako nyada kala kulta melan ko kewlja kiloto.
And also to reiterate what Aisha was saying about the nutrition, it's the husband's role to provide. In the Gambia, husbands are typically the ones who, they don't go to the market, they don't typically bring food home. The wife is the one who goes to provide food, shop for food. But it will also be helpful if the husband go along with her, or if he's out, he grabs certain foods just for the wife, not for the whole family. It's important for the women, again, to increase their protein intake that we talked about early on in our other series, increasing, her protein intake and maintaining a well-balanced diet. But we know that protein in the Gambia is something that is not very commonly, available, in a sense that the cost of it, it's more expensive. So if the husband can add more, money towards the woman just to have protein for herself, to increase her protein during her pregnancy and postpartum, making sure that her diet is balanced, it's really important. He plays a huge role in a woman's diet.
Ka dia mina fana wala ku ni musobe kuno mala akwa alongo ko men gambe ba ila ku kewo fongo bugata ka do moro nyin ka nyin ka samana abru ni yajibe ko do min gabo o kewo lega mara wala jama Gambia woto akwa be ba mallaka ji ko ka banya dile balura ma wala balula di mara wal mi yalan ko buko protein ako kaje ku ka musode mala kaje ko a soto kaji ko balu ay do mor tembere ngo soto mialan ko abi baludi mala o be ku mala la wana non ko chawbe ko do la vala kaji ko protein nying ase soto ala balu kono ba muso indi mala ba kuno maindo.
I want to say, Selma, that if we're not necessarily talking about, it doesn't have to be beef, it doesn't have to be things that are hard to get. I know fish must be prevalent in the Gambia, must be, and we must have access to eggs and milk and lentils. These are the kind of foods that we're talking about that are protein foods.
Aku akama abo komen su ulangol wala su ama au abara abo komen go domoro min boko anata ko nyawol lemu 6 kilo lu kilo ako kumada ako kalo no ko komi nyi o mukule no fennede melan ko siada Gambia o komi o sifal kumala.
All right, one more thing I want to say, because I don't want to keep it too long. I know that being on the internet is difficult. So, I want to say, we always say it, knowledge is power. But I want you to understand it's not just the mom. I want the dad to be just as knowledgeable as she is, so they can make decisions together and support each other on this journey.
Ako wala la flen ko nyin ka kunna suti ande amala faka jamba ne ba kami wolen ko ako kami wada wolen ko londo musembolet ako bara o manke ba madrondi bara komi fama fana ni alon ko ni londo insuro je bala o kay dima e be kolu e be taman la nyam.
And people can start. I was just going to say, and people can start. We have this free book that's offered right now, right here. The link. Get this free book. It's a good start. You have to read it online, but I'm offering it to you freely. It has a lot of information. Start with that. It's a quick read, like 10 minutes. Anybody can pick that up and start reading.
Kami volen ko ay silbe wala chokira ngom yalan ko already kami link ako mu kafal wala bukul de yalan ko atine pengana ndui ite fem jola kunna oto ako be kumala le ka karam o ngamira kumala bise o karam.
And I just want to point out that we're trying to be proactive in taking care of the Gambian women maternal health. We don't want to show up when there's already an emergency. We don't want the dad to be in a state of of panic when his wife ends up in an emergency. We're trying to prevent that. So it's important for dads to get involved from the very beginning of the pregnancy and stay involved throughout the pregnancy, during the labor, and the woman's postpartum. I feel like talking about postpartum is a whole nother topic, subhanAllah, that we will, inshallah, touch on. But if I can also mention, we can translate that about this getting involved. Yeah.
Yeah, just repeat it again. I just forgot.
It's important for the dad to get involved early on in the pregnancy, so that we can prevent any type of emergency reactions. It's right now because of the condition, dads are typically they're in a state of panic when they find out their wives are having like an emergency C-section, or maybe the woman needs blood. We're trying to prevent this type of reaction. We want to be proactive so that the woman is going into her labor healthy, and having a healthy labor means that the mom has a healthy pregnancy.
Kami volen ko ako min kuma da volen ko ke wole ta lorin kaje ko ite tasirin ko le ta lakor ngala kana ke ko muso ina dum tingo kono wala ina lafi ka fu ko iba aya comme C-section kaje ko ya fararu ka furga dingo bondi ina taraw o nyamul kono woni o dengo kono abdo ako ni hadro keta kaje ko muso eta kende arin tuma ya fura tingola obi kujamalu abul bayle la wala be kujamal soni andale ko mata fura la kudol kono mili alan ko mili boko o nyongol.
And it's also important for the woman to know that her husband, believes in her ability to give birth. She believes that, he's trusting of her. The woman really needs to know this. So it's important for the husband to ensure his wife throughout the pregnancy, during labor, I'm proud of you. You're doing great. Encouraging words is really important. She needs to hear it from him. She needs to feel it. She needs to be able to look in his eyes and know that the husband believes in her and that he loves her and he's supportive of her and that he's proud of her. Tell her, I'm proud of you. You're doing great. You're doing great. Just constantly encouraging the woman.
Ako kumala ka kewo yenye lande ya tandi musola kaje ku ela wulu nye wole beti min kono iba keno la awlong andun ka alon ku fana ko muso nyi kewo ya kanule ajele ni kewo tande ala an ka tande ala ko ala kata ko nyi aba kata kanne wala ko kata ko beti yare ne anda kanule anu abi safu nyadi la do ko ay minke be a seworne ko nyinda como si bala ko tande ala ko be kumala le nafa warda sadi ko muso wala no so.
Okay, I lost connection for a minute, so I'm not sure if we lost our stream or not. But I think, is there anything else that you would like to share, Selma, before we wrap up?
I think that we talked about, I don't know, just about the support of the husband in terms of encouraging words, saying loving and supporting words to the wife while you were out. I think just for a moment. But Sekoba, did you have any questions?
So in the aspect of Gambia, because obviously I understand this is quite important, but you see, we have to understand that when it comes to showing intimacy or love, it's different based on cultures. So yes. Obviously, in the typical Mandinga culture, maybe we might not say I love you. We don't say that easily, but that doesn't mean, and that is understood, but obviously I think if the husband is with the wife, telling her that, she's doing well and she shouldn't be scared, she can do it. That will, in our case, that will suffice. Yes. We don't say often, I love you. In our, this is just something that is understood. But if the husband cares, that gives the wife an understanding that he loves her. So obviously, I think that might just be.
I didn't use the word love. I used the word he's proud of her and he believes in her. And just like you said, just being there and supporting her. Yes, you're absolutely correct in that sense. I know in Gambia is not a culture where husband and wives typically show intimacy in public.
Yeah, exactly.
But
but we know there's intimacy because they're getting pregnant.
Yeah.
So there
obviously, yeah.
Yeah.
Right? I'm just trying to bring it to the understanding of for instance, my people like myself, because obviously this is not something that it's hard to have the cultural shifts, from coming from a Gambian background, and so, but obviously, I think this is understood. We know, in Gambia, if a husband is caring, and Gambia is not just one culture as well. So obviously,
well, and you don't word it.
It broke up, Aisha.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to close because it's been about over 20 minutes now. So I want to go ahead and close it out. I want to thank you both for your participation, and I'll see you